New Mexico. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital with a rich heritage that dates back to before New Mexico was a state. We've been improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. As a nonprofit hospital, San Juan Regional Medical Center is a values-driven organization. We strive to deliver on our mission to personalize health care and create vitality and enthusiasm in healing. We are here for you when you need us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning, October the 17th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, and a special good morning to our viewers who are watching us live this morning on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everybody. Coming up this morning here on KSJE, our focus is politics. We'll be talking with two candidates who are running in the November general election for two different races, however. First up will be LoRenzo Bates. He'll be my guest in just a moment here. And Mr. Bates is running for San Juan County Commission in District 2. He's running as an independent. We'll be talking with him about his campaign in just a few moments here on KSJE. At 8:30, we will shift focus just a little bit to another race, that is State Representative District 4, and my guest is Anthony Allison. He's a Democrat running for that position in November. We'll talk about his campaign with him coming up today at 8:30 on KSJE. We will round out the 8 o'clock hour, as we do every Wednesday, with our visit to the Encouragement Lab. Communications professor Dr. Mike Hadabaugh is standing by in the lab this morning, and he will talk about why it's always important to be encouraging. That is the message you'll hear later on this morning and see later on this morning on KSJE. Roving with the Arts, following, of course, at 9 a.m. on the radio. You can listen, of course, at 90.9 FM, or also streaming at KSJE.com. Mick Hess will be here continuing his playing of La Boheme for us on Roving with the Arts, and Mick always has some great arts news to share with us as well. That's today at 9 on KSJE. And then 10:30, don't forget about our local and regional author program coming up right on Four Corners. Tracy Hales-Vass is here talking with Nate Powell. He is one of the co-authors of the book March, which is the One Book, One Community selection here at San Juan College this year. She'll be talking with him. Of course, Mr. Powell is going to be appearing here on campus next week for a lecture and book signing and some of the many, many events that are part of this book and the One Book, One Community programs here at San Juan College and elsewhere. So we hope you'll tune in and check out that interview coming up this morning at 10:30 on KSJE. You can always check out our programming schedule, of course, by going to our website at ksje.com, and that's also where you'll find our regional events calendar at ksje.com. A couple of reminders of some events going on. In fact, right now is the Focus on Farmington coffee event, a free event at Junk and Jewelry in Farmington. That is happening this morning. The Beyond Words art exhibit continuing here, of course, at the San Juan College Henderson Fine Arts Center Gallery. The 5th annual San Juan County's Got Talent program is coming up, of course, on Saturday here at San Juan College to benefit the San Juan County Partnership. I'll be there and hope you will be too. Also, a Latin jazz concert in Santa Fe, the Symphony presenting that at St. Francis Auditorium. Some of the many events you'll see on our regional events calendar at ksje.com. My guest in the studio as we start our political coverage for the 2018 elections, LoRenzo Bates is here. He is running for San Juan County Commission in District 2. Mr. Bates, thanks for coming in this morning.
You bet. Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. It's good to have you here to talk a bit about the race and some of the issues that are important for voters in the county, especially in District 2. You are facing two opponents, right? Because you're running as an independent.
Right, exactly.
And so talk to me a little bit about that. Why did you decide to run as an independent candidate?
Well, I've always been an independent from day one, and it gives the people the choice,
right,
and not be voting down party lines, Democrat and Republican. So it gives you that opportunity in terms of not playing politics, if you may, and be able to look at it from a broad perspective in terms of making a decision. And,
Sure.
and be able to do both sides of the card.
Gotcha. And so when you're talking to potential voters, and I mean, I imagine most are, well, I shouldn't say most, some are declared either Republican or Democrat, but there are many who decline to state or independent or what have you. Is that the audience that you're going for with your campaign, or are you going for Republicans and Democrats too?
I'm going for Democrats and as well as Republicans. And there are folks out there that may not necessarily agree with either party. And so they'll need someone to be able to look at it, again, like I indicated, from a very broad perspective and decide on what is good for my constituents out there.
Sure. And what kinds of things are you concerned about for District 3, for San Juan County? Of course, you've been in the area for a very long time. You've been in politics, I think, for a very long time. Folks may know that you're also part of the Navajo Nation government. And so what kinds of issues do you think we need to be aware of, or voters in District 3 need to be aware of and paying attention to?
Well, the two things.
Okay.
Budget, in terms of spending the dollars needed for the services that are provided. District 2 is a very large district. Of that district, there are many roads that have to be dealt with. I'm able to bring to the table a memorandum of agreement, understanding, whatever it may be termed as, to be able to work with the Navajo Nation in terms of road maintenance. Now, that's the Navajo Nation side.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There are other areas, as it applies to roads, where one can determine in terms of how those road issues can be solved. Right? You have Bloomfield right now. City of Bloomfield is wanting to provide the sheriff services to have the state, or the county, the county be able to undertake the sheriff's
Law enforcement. Right. Sure.
As with Kirtland. Now, how much of a problem is that going to create in terms of the budget? Right.
Right. Of course.
Bloomfield is struggling as a result of a lawsuit that they had to pay. How's that going to work out? Is it something that will be determined by this administration in dealing with that? You have the fire.
Right.
There obviously is not enough ambulances, enough fire engines to maintain the entire county. How do you deal with that? People want to be served and protected in terms of those areas. How does one approach it?
Sure.
There obviously is not enough money to be able to spread around to do that.
What's the answer then? I mean, it's either, I guess, decreasing services or increasing revenue, right?
Decreasing, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What programs are we going to have to deal with in cutting? Obviously, that goes to unemployment. What do you do with those folks once you give them the pink slip to move down the unemployment line?
Right.
Now, Then there's economic development. The P&M station, Public Service New Mexico, is closing in 2022. I am deeply involved in Navajo Generating Station, Arizona Public Service.
Right. That's the station in Page and the other station across the street in on the Navajo Nation here, right?
And P&M.
Right.
Those all have significant the word I'm missing is
Like
intense, right?
Right.
On who they serve, revenue-wise, the workers, etc. Those areas are significant to the county. With P&M, there are nearly 500-600 employees that will be out of a job in 2022.
Right.
What do you do with those people?
Sure, exactly.
How do you get them back to work? I understand that the college is going down that path in terms of transitioning those folks to become more available in terms of other work.
Sure.
Now,
There's been a lot of money in grants for retraining and things like that for some of these workers that you're talking about who could be displaced and if these plants go away and the mines go away.
That's right. Now, having indicated that, there is a possibility that we may be able to bring in and say P&M. Now, right now my focus is on NGS. And as you're well aware...
That's the power plant in Page for folks who don't know, but yes.
Yeah, NGS and Page. It took a turn for the worse, and right now we're under a time constraint of coming up with a plan.
Right.
In the event that this plan does not work, P&M, Four Corners, is there a way to tie a initiative to save the jobs, save the revenue, etc.
Sure.
To this?
So you don't think that conversation is over
That's
for these plants?
It's not over for these plants, no.
Because it does reflect a lot of jobs, a lot of economic growth and opportunity for people who live on the Navajo Nation.
Right. And the revenue in itself is significant
No
to
kidding,
the
that's
Navajo
right.
Nation. Now,
Tens of millions of dollars.
if P&M goes away, it does away with capital outlay, tribal infrastructure fund, and those are all important to the nation, as well as to the state.
Sure.
In doing so. So it is very, very significant in terms of coming up with a solution. Now, having served on the Navajo Nation Council for 16 years, I was also chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee of the Navajo Nation for 8 years. So you get a broad perspective of all the moving money pieces to making something work.
And that's going to be important on the county commission, you feel?
Right. Very important of how to make these moving pieces connect up so that the county is viable.
Right.
In terms of, again, economic development and revenue.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. We showed a map of District 3 just a few minutes ago when you were talking about it, and I want to show it again because this is kind of the area that we're talking about. It is roughly south of the San Juan River, I guess, would be the landmark, and then also encompasses a lot of the eastern side of San Juan County. Is that how you would describe it?
I would describe it that.
Okay. Let me show it again for folks who are watching us this morning on Facebook and YouTube, everybody. But hold on one second while I call it up here, and there it is. That's County Commission District 2, and as you can see, it's a huge district, geographically speaking, right? I mean,
Right,
you've got to be
right,
putting a lot of miles on the car going out visiting all these chapters and neighborhoods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
but it's a lot of place, and I'm trying to see. It's really also the southern half of Bloomfield too, right? From 64 south
Yep.
is what we're talking about as well in that part of the area. And then it goes all the way up into some of the Navajo Dam community and over on that side of the county. So that's what we're talking about. Talk to me a little bit about some of the other issues. So, I mean, if the plants do close, there are some ideas of maybe getting another operator in. I mean, P&M says they want out, so I assume they're out. But could you, I guess, foresee maybe another operator coming in to take over that plant and then keep the mine going and things like that? Because the plant is still, I would think, somewhat viable because of all the scrubbing and pollution control technology that's been invested in that plant over the years.
Well, P&M, as you indicated, is out now.
We're not going to change their mind. They're out.
They're not. They're out. Is there that possibility? Technology is what it is today, but as we move down this path, there is technology that it is in the form of not generating electricity. Okay. And as we go down this path, it will be something that will be looked at as to how it fits in to the county in terms of generating or saving jobs, revenue, etc. Now, 2022.
Right.
There's time to be able to go down this path. In the event that P&M chooses to go down this path along with the county, can we make it work at the end of the day? That's significant in terms of, again, saving the jobs.
Right. And the tribe has to be a partner in any of these conversations, I would think.
Well,
you really have to have them as at the table.
P&M is off Navajo, all right, and the jobs are significant to Navajo.
Mm-hmm.
And as a county manager, how do you make it work for everybody?
Right.
Everybody, whether just for everybody.
That's the key.
That's the key.
Right. Let me ask you real quick. We just have a couple of minutes remaining. My guest, LoRenzo Bates, is here. He is running for San Juan County Commission, District 2, as an independent. There's been a lot of talk about railroad and train, and I imagine the tribe's been involved with that too. Is that ongoing? Is that another important maybe partnership between the county and the tribe that could be helpful for the economy of San Juan County?
Well, the train, the discussion on the train was significant, had its purpose in terms of shipping coal out. Is that still on the table? Yes and no, because it's going to close. Right. So, what else is out there that would cause the county to be able to ship coal out on these matters?
Right. If it saved the jobs at the mine to have a market for that coal, I guess, and have it transportable by a train, I mean, I suppose that would be something to be talking about.
Well, yes and no, again.
Okay.
Simply because it's not cost efficient.
I see.
All right. To be able to ship that coal down the railroad tracks to make it work.
Gotcha. Even with the train, not
Even
cost
with the
effective.
train.
Not cost effective. I gotcha. You can tell I'm not an economist. That's why I'm on the radio asking these questions. Mr. Bates, I appreciate your time coming in this morning. If folks would like more information about your campaign, I imagine there's a website or a phone number. We don't want to share some information with folks on how they can reach you. What's the best way to do that?
There's Elect Bates website.
Okay.
To be able to get to.
If they search for your name, they'll find you.
Yeah.
And they'll give all the information on how to reach you. So very good. Thanks for coming in this
You bet.
morning.
Thank you.
All right. LoRenzo Bates, my guest here on KSJE, running for San Juan County Commission, independent candidate, District 2. This program on KSJE is supported by Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation, providing a competent, innovative, and caring team of professionals to serve wealth management, trust administration, employee benefit plans, retirement planning, and estate settlement needs. Find out more about Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation at 505